What's up guys, Max here. Today we're going to be installing the bedside compressor mount from Expedition Essentials. I've been super excited for this. My original plan was to mount the air compressor, the onboard air, under the hood, like most people do. But the downside of doing that is now you gotta pop your hood, right? And I kind of realized that that gets annoying having the hood up and all that. So this is a super awesome option because all you gotta do is walk back here and you're just gonna open up this little compartment here, pull out your hose, flip on your compressor, and you're good to go. So let's take a look at this mount. It's gonna come like this. The packaging was awesome. I love that they put their logo all over everything. Everything's zip tied in place so it doesn't bounce around. And if you're wondering why I have baby clothes here, it's because we just had a newborn baby like 5 or 6 days ago. His name's Sawyer. And these guys saw that on Instagram and they threw in some jammies for him and this really nice card. Now if that isn't awesome customer service, I don't know what is. Like, that is just so amazing. Such an awesome surprise to have that thrown in, and I can't thank them enough. Thank you guys. Really, really kind of you. So, we're gonna get on with this install. I do have a little air compressor here. I got this used on Instagram for $100. Hopefully it works okay. And they do have like a wiring harness set up. And that's a good idea before you install this thing to have the wiring all done and set up. If you guys are familiar with my other videos, you know that I don't really like to show wiring so much. Maybe it's the firefighter in me. I just don't want to suggest, I don't want to tell people how to wire their stuff and then have them do it wrong and then come after me because they have some sort of huge car fire going on. Plus, it's also just like, it twists me up. My brain, I can't wrap my brain around filming and wiring at the same time. So I still got to figure out this wiring. Then we're gonna get to the bed mount. But it's pretty simple. The wiring should be no different than wiring an LED light, any kind of switch with a relay. So when looking at this, the quality looks awesome. It's all powder coated. All these holes here, they're tapped, so you just bolt right onto them, which is really, really nice. On these mounting plates, they're all like recessed already. Looks real nice. And then they even have little serial numbers on all their parts, which is kind of cool. So here's my compressor. I've got it plugged into a cable that I ran back to the bed of the truck just for power to power my fridge. And I'm gonna rerun a new cable for my fridge later, just because it was a little short. But everything works. And I'm gonna run the switch back here. It's definitely an option to run it in the cab, but I want to be able to just open this thing up, flip the switch on, and start pumping. So that's kind of the plan. We start off by removing this door and setting that aside because we get to reuse that. And then you're going to take a T30 Torx bit and we're going to remove all of this stock hardware. The box should slide out. Just like that. There we go. Alright, so the next step is to reach up inside, kind of like this portion right here in the middle, and you'll feel this fin that runs up and down the bed, just like right here where you see this line, and you need to trim some of that off if you're installing the double compressor. I'm installing this much smaller compressor. It's not as nice as the double. I wish I had the money to do the double, but I think this will get the job done. I'm not like in a huge hurry and I don't really need like the best of everything. I think this will do just fine. So I don't think I need to trim that fin. I could be wrong, but I don't think I need to. They've included this drilling template that you kind of line up here like this, and you want to get it nice and even. That looks pretty good, like that. And we're going to tape it in place. Kind of takes some of the guesswork out of it. I'm going to put a little pilot hole just to be accurate because it's so close to that edge. I noticed the pilot holes on this side went straight through, but this side I hit something like metal. And I know that some people have run into the issue where their drill bit walks over this way because there's like a metal plate in here, and then you end up having to notch it out. I'm gonna try to avoid that. Hopefully we don't have to do that. I'll probably take this paper off now so I can see a little bit better. There's so little tolerance here that if you have the drill template just off a tiny bit, it ends up notching out. But it should still work just fine. The way that you install this thing is going to be sandwiched in between the composite bed and the two pieces of steel. So as long as you can sandwich it in, it's going to be just fine. So this little notched out area is not going to be a big deal. What you got?
Treats.
Treats? Can Dad have some? Nice. Because this mount is designed to mount the double compressor, there's no pre-drilled screw hole, so I got to come up with how I want this thing to go in there by myself. So I'm going to take this plate off, and that'll allow me to figure out where I need to drill. Must be aluminum. I thought it was steel, but it's drilling like aluminum, and it's nice and lightweight. So trying to get all those things to line up and go through the holes is a living nightmare, but you'll eventually get it. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these things all down. I kind of like, as I got one through, I'd put the lock nut on it. And these lock nuts, you have to go get them yourself. Might come with your ARB, I'm not sure. Mine didn't. Yeah, I'm just really worried that this little coupling is a little too low, but we'll fit it in place, and if it's not accessible, then I'll just re-drill and move it up. It's not that big of a deal, really. This is where Expedition Essentials recommends having a buddy to help you hold that thing up. I'm gonna try to do it on my own, and if I have to, I'll go bother my wife, but we'll see how I do. Well, shit. My compressor's not really sitting where I want it. Oh, I'm still trying to figure out which way I want to have this thing. I had it originally on that side, mainly just because I saw a picture on their Instagram with one mounted over there. But then once I got it in place, I realized that this air chuck was completely blocked. It was like down here. And so by switching it to this side, it can be up here, which makes more sense. I don't think it looks quite as nice for whatever reason, but it makes way more sense. You can just easily plug this guy in, take your cable out, and it's a lot closer to the edge of the tailgate, because reaching over the tailgate to get all the way back here to plug this in is kind of a pain. And my truck's pretty tall, so going over the bedside is kind of a pain too. So this spot looks pretty good, but this is also still kind of close. Before I do anything else that's permanent, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this box, because what we need to do is retain this outer portion, and we need to keep these notches in place. So we want to measure 3/4 of an inch, which kind of lines us up right in the middle of this notch here. And we're going to cut around the box. So I'm going to tape it off so I have a nice line to follow. Alright, so we're just going to take our cut-off wheel, and this stuff should cut real easy. So I've got some new holes drilled, and I'm going to go ahead and drop the compressor in like this. I wish I had thought of this from the beginning, but you know, not too many people have installed the single in this guy here. So luckily I'm doing it so you guys can see how it's done. Alright, so I just spent the last half hour carving out a nice little hole for this switch to stick through. It should just sit down inside my box. I'll just be able to reach up in there and switch it on. Hopefully it's not too high. It ended up a little bit higher than I meant to have it, but at this point I'm just going to run with it. Worm it up inside this Okay, so with it clamped on that one side, you know, I might still need someone's help, but we'll see. I'm gonna put this guy in place and sort of stretch the box until I get it fitting right. All right, once you've got all these bolts in place, then it's time to take these two spacers here and we're gonna put them along the top and bottom rail so that this guy sticks out a little bit further and it kind of fills the gap behind it. Awesome. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Overall, the installation was pretty straightforward. The instructions are very clear, and I love how easy it is to access this compressor now. And I don't know if you guys watched my older video where I tested out that Ado air pump. I can already tell you that the ARB pump is just a million times better, and then with this setup it's just awesome. We're just enjoying a nice Father's Day doing some shooting. It was nice to air down the tires for a bit of a smoother ride, and then real easy to just air right back up when we're done. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stow this stuff back, and we'll be on our way home. That's it.